Cuppa Joe Nintendo is powered by the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. We want to say thank you to some people, starting with our Diamond executive producers, Slimer Snarf, Lee Navarro, and Jonathan Brown. Also, our Platinum producer, Robbie Bobby Miller. And then to our Gold level patrons like James Johnson, Jean K, Skinny Matt, Ashley Nicholson, Aaron Gropper, Trucker Sloth, Argo, Ryan Turford, Egg Shen, and Ray Sony Pony Martinez. Thank you everyone for all of your support.
Sean, I gotta tell you, I'm a little out of left field with this Pikmin 3 thing.
Yeah. You okay with it?
Yeah, I mean...
Now we're set. Now we're good. The rest of the year, that's all I needed was another Wii U game. I'm solid, man.
I just don't understand how
Coming out of the gates with some positivity here, man.
I know, but it's gotta. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you. I'm glad you brought it up, man.
I'm just a little confused by the whole year.
Yeah. I know.
It just feels real. It feels real, like almost like it's not happening.
You know, it kind of almost feels like if I'm going to give any benefit of the doubt at all, it kind of feels like Nintendo has landed on something that is working like nothing else has worked ever in the history of video games before. And they're like, we don't want to mess this up as long as possible.
Yeah.
We want to keep people playing Animal Crossing for as long as humanly possible. We don't want to distract that with anything. We'll do Little Paper Mario, see how that goes, and that's kind of it. And that's really it. Pikmin is about as niche as it gets when it comes to like first party stuff from Nintendo.
Yeah.
I used to think about that about Animal Crossing, so who knows, maybe Pikmin 3 from the Wii U will be like this next multi-million unit seller or something.
Well, I think if it was Pikmin 4, I think it'll probably sell a few million easily. You know what I mean? Like, I think
probably. Well, it's just the drought.
Oh, it's not even just a drought. It's the fact that I don't care when this game would have come out, it would have sold a few million. You know, just because of the fact that, like, we said the same stuff about Tropical Freeze. It sold like crazy. So
they're good games. That's not what I'm saying at all. They're really good games. We've said that since the Wii U days. That the games on Wii U were awesome. Like, that's not a new sentiment from us.
You have like 40 million units above the Wii U.
Yeah.
So
finally, these games have a chance.
Well, that's the thing. That's 40 million people, in theory, that never played these games.
Yeah.
That's huge. It might even be 50 million, actually, but whatever. But you're talking about a lot of people that never played these games that, to be fair, probably wanted to play them, just hated the Wii U. Didn't want to mess with the Wii U. So I'm happy for that aspect of it. Like, to think that, like, hey, we're actually going to get some stuff that, you know, people are going to get some games that they haven't played before.
Yeah.
For the hardcore Nintendo fans, it just feels like there's nothing.
Yeah, if you've been around this block before, it's kind of like, ugh. And, like, for me, like, I would love, I mean, everybody's going to have their thing that they go like, well, it's not this, but it's this. But, like, for me personally, it's like, I want those remasters, those Zelda remasters on Wii U. Like, bring those up, and I'll be singing a different tune. But I don't know, Pikmin's like, it pushes back on me a little bit. Like, it's hard, and I also wonder if it's like, is Switch going to be the best way to play that game, or am I going to be going? I'd rather play on the gamepad.
Well, I think the thing is, I'm trying to think how I played it. I'm pretty sure I played it with the gamepad. But there was Wiimote and nunchuck controls added to it. And that was always pretty cool to play because you pointed where you wanted the Pikmin to go. So I think that, like, in that theory, I'm not too upset about it.
Yeah. So are you saying, like, is there going to be like motion controls like with the Joy-Cons on this one? I'm not sure
I think that might be what it is.
Seen anything on that? That would be great. Yeah.
Because otherwise, I don't want to play with a Pro Controller.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
It's horrible with a Pro Controller. Yeah. I think it gets very super hard. Now, I'm sure handheld mode.
Handheld's gonna be good.
Might be really good, you know.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. We don't know exactly what it's bringing or what's happening.
Is that 2-screen setup was perfect.
Oh.
And we destroyed it. We killed it. There's not even a way to like emulate it on on the Switch setup, which is a little bit silly.
Yeah, it was. I know it does. Yeah, it would be kind of cool if you could actually pull it out of the dock, and for some weird reason it still transmits.
Yeah,
you know, that would be. You know.
Dude, I'd even, as crazy as it is, I would even use like a Switch Lite as a gamepad and like pair it up with my docked Switch or something like that. Like I know that's insane because the Switch Lite's like another $200 unit, but I think that would be great.
For those that have it, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're just not going in that direction at all.
Well,
like that's kind of it.
I mean, think about it. The only new game, in theory, I mean, big game. I know we had 51 games or whatever like that. That game.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that's a juggernaut, huge game. The only brand new game we had this year was Animal Crossing. Xenoblade is from the Wii.
Another remaster.
That's from the Wii. You know, you got Paper Mario. That's. I guess that would be the next big game that's new. But I don't know that really set the world on fire. Like, people didn't really... I feel like they were super hyped before that, and then when they realized it's not really a true RPG, they kind of like was like, I don't know.
It's the typical Paper Mario hype cycle. Yeah. Like, oh, this one has... This is going to be the one, and then it's kind of... I'm hearing that it's like even too long, too. Like, it's not even like... If you even like it, it's kind of like it's almost too long, so... It's a weird year, and I wonder too if like how other people are handling it. So there's the people who are like, I don't know, man, this is the thing. They've landed on something that works, and then you have like a bunch of vocal people like me going like, I'm not happy with this year. Like I think it's pretty brutal, to be honest with you.
I mean,
I didn't think Clubhouse was that good. No. I tried to play with 4 people, it sucks.
Yeah, I played with Rybo. I loved it.
With one other person, it's great.
I love playing
with 2 people.
Love playing pool. Love playing the golf game that's in there. There's a lot of good mini games in there that are great.
Sure. Yep.
But once you get a lot of people in there, it's just not as fun. But that's neither here nor there. The thing for me is, though, I look at it and I go, so the only other big game that's rumored is this Mario collection.
Right.
And then it's another remaster.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been wondering this whole time is like, is that going to be good enough? And like, to be honest, though, I feel like it probably would be at this point. We've been so thirsty for games. It's like, well, that might be good enough. I'm not even sure that I would be really mad about that at this point. And I'm not too stoked about 2020 for Nintendo.
Oh, and listen, I'll be the first to say that I think that the complaints, are they really a Nintendo issue? Like, it's everybody. Like, nobody's putting games out on the Switch. It's just not Nintendo. And nobody's putting games out
That's
anywhere.
What I really mean. It's just my time. And I don't want to sound like I'm like this entitled kind of kid or whatever. Like,
I think 2020 is a bad year for video games altogether. Just because I don't believe that these companies were set up to do the work from home type thing.
Oh, definitely not.
And how do you circumvent the whole, like, you have to stay at home order?
Imagine launching a console this year. Like, imagine that. That would be, if it's hard to just like maintain your 4th year in a systems, like imagine launching a new damn console, man. Oh my gosh, it would be impossible. And so that's the thing. Like, I definitely want to put like almost like a disclaimer on everything that I'm saying here. Like, I get it, and I'm not too upset because I'm able to get, as a gamer, I'm able to get to like a lot of stuff I haven't gotten to before. Like, I never in a million years would have bought Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
If this year wasn't the way that it was. But like, that's great. Like, that's something that I've always heard people that talk about it, that it's great. And I've tried a whole bunch of like different indie games on my Switch this year. Like, from that front, it's not like I'm not playing anything, but I just feel like from a first party Nintendo standpoint, it's so strange. Who the heck was I just talking to? Somebody had put up like a trolling comment that on some video that like Nintendo is only being held by or held up by the third parties. And it's like, how has the world changed?
I know.
In the last 5 or 7 years or something, where we're like, just get the third party support, and now it's like, they're only being held up by third party support. That's the knock on them now. It's like, well,
if that's the case, to that person, you're an idiot. Honestly.
Right.
But for me, I look at it and I go, I'm not even moved by the third party games that are hitting. Like, that's the thing for me. Like, there has been nothing. And I guess that's just a crazy thing. For me personally, I know a lot of people think I'm absolutely crazy. But I honestly don't even know how no game has moved me off of the Animal Crossing sphere.
Yeah. Like, not even close.
It's nuts. Like, it's crazy.
But that's the thing. Like, that's what I wanted to ask you about, though. Is like, isn't that like the best thing ever, though? Like, for people who are all into Animal Crossing, like, isn't that the best thing that you don't even have anything that's remotely distracting at all?
For me, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But as a Nintendo fan, I worry. And I go, is this enough? Is this?
You know, it's funny. I think when we were on, we did If We Were on Nintendo last year, and Brendan Myers at like sometime I think around December or January put in a question going like, "Are you worried about 2020? Like, we don't really know anything." And I remember us going like, "No, don't be worried about that kind of stuff. It'll like they always come out with stuff, and like they don't need to be spilling out the full year." And now here we are, like 9 months later or something, and it's like, maybe we should have been worried, man. I think you might have been onto something.
I don't think anybody saw what happened.
Obviously, the pandemic.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean I think that changes the whole ballgame. You know, and not to give anybody an excuse, I just really think that nobody knows that we're in uncharted territory. You're in a situation where, you know, the government is telling you only essential people can go to work, and again, if you're not set up, like as secretive as Nintendo is, you're not built to be like, hey, you guys can work on this very super secretive game at home. You know, it's one of these situations of how do you do that? How do you create this whole situation? And I think that's, you know, I don't want to come off like I'm really super critical of Nintendo. I just would like to see something. Even I feel like now is the time to just announce games, even if they're not even close.
Yeah, well, that's
just a couple, just to get people to go like, "Hey, there is something exciting to look forward to." You know,
but you know that they're not like at all inclined to do that. Like, not even a little bit. Just the fact that they just announced like their craziest quarter ever. Like, they're selling. You know what I mean? Like, and at what point do like I'm not playing games, right? I'm not buying games right now. There's not really a whole lot for me on Switch, but the sales are like they have those evergreen titles.
It's massive.
Like, people are walking in a Switch for the first time ever, and then they'll pick up their Mario Karts and all the Super Marios and everything else that's happening. Like, they don't have to have. They are not motivated at all to do that.
No.
Only by like just, you know, people like us who play the latest and greatest, but they're expanding, like they're doing well, and it's just it's hard for me to wrap my mind around like how that even works. But there's a lot of people that can buy video games that aren't us.
Can we just discuss for a moment the fact that Donnie Reese was wrong about Animal Crossing?
I don't want to pile on that, man. He's admitted
I know, but I like it. No, in actuality, that was.
Well, so was I. I would have been right with him.
Yeah, I was just kidding.
That it's niche and it's
Listen,
not like.
The sales figures proved it.
I knew that it was big.
It was always like a lower tier franchise for Nintendo.
For sure.
I mean, it sold a lot. It had its very hardcore audience.
But
to be fair, I never really truly felt, you know, it would do this. Like, it's in second place now.
Well,
it passed Smash. It passed
Smash. That's insane. That is insane.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's the magic of Nintendo, and that's like, I feel like that's almost like where they're gonna go. They're gonna go even further away from like get the hardcore audience, or the hardcore gamer, quote unquote audience, and it's like, man, with the Wii and the way that you interacted with that like it got that blue ocean strategy out there, Animal Crossing, like nobody has a game like that right now. Really, there's a lot of like farming games and things like that, but like there's nothing quite like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, man, I feel like they're probably gonna like lean into that even more. Maybe they're just looking at their whole strat. That this allows them a little bit of space to go, let's look at our strategy. Let's sit back. Let's see what happens with Xbox and PlayStation as they try and roll out these consoles. And who knows, man? It almost feels like the calm before the storm. What if they've got another console coming? Like, maybe they're just kind of like they've wrapped up what they were gonna do with the original hardware, and just not like a brand new, like totally different hardware.
Like an upgrade.
You know what I'm saying? Like a Pro or something like that.
I mean, it's very possible, and I've felt that like if you want to make that happen, you do that with you know, you bang that out with Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2, yeah, for sure.
But I also really, in my heart, man, I really feel like they are preparing for 2017 all over again, where they are just utilizing this situation to go,
it's possible.
Hey, let's push everything brand new off to 2021, and let's just go. I mean, how do you beat?
That's the thing.
How do you beat a new console? That's how you beat a new console. Where you have
I totally agree.
Home run after home run after home run, month after month after month. Dude, Sony and Xbox would never get their legs underneath of them. Yeah. Because every single time, because what you're doing is you're pulling money out of the coffers. When everybody's saving for these $500 machines, you're constantly pulling that revenue out from underneath of them. You know, because $500 is not an impulse buy. That's something you have to save up for, right?
I've been saving for 2 years for this stuff, man.
So the thing is like if you can actually pull the legs out from underneath of them by every single month putting out a brand new franchise, not a brand new franchise, but a brand new game for a franchise, dude, it's a home run, man.
Well, it's funny because anybody watching Xbox and PlayStation has been talking about like this game of chicken that they're playing in terms of like price and release date, right? Like they're both like, we don't know how much they're going to be. We don't know when they're coming out. And it's kind of getting comical at this point. And I don't know that we've ever really looked at like Nintendo's role in all of this as well. And I feel like maybe, I'm just kind of realizing this as we talk this through, is like maybe they're also playing chicken. They also kind of want to see what those guys are doing before they really unleash anything else. And then they go, okay, well, you guys are coming out on November 17th. Well, on October 31st, like, here's whatever. And here's like, then they kind of just, like you say, like, take the wind out of their sails.
Do you wonder if they're waiting for them to do their big announcements for them to go, here's a direct?
Yeah, it's very, okay, so if we ran Nintendo, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I would just be like, we're not going to do nothing until they do something. And when they do something, we totally pull the wind out of their sails.
This is how Nintendo fandom works, right?
Yeah.
You go, I mean, we're criticizing them, but like at the same time, like maybe they got like a magic trick up their sleeve.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something, like maybe there's not. But maybe there's absolutely nothing.
But I mean, to be fair, history has shown that they do that quite often.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times.
They'll just sucker punch you with something.
Yeah, there's a lot of times people would come out with stuff, and then they would like. The whole switch has been every time Sony did something, Nintendo would make an announcement. Every time that people got on Nintendo for something bad, they make an announcement and totally shift the paradigm back into their corner, you know? And
yeah.
It's nuts to me to see a company able to just pivot the way they've been able to pivot. I mean, dude,
at this point, what do you think about Pikmin 4? We're getting Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which I love that's a thing on Switch. I have to say, I love that's been a common thing. Yeah. Either Ultimate or Deluxe has been kind of like the thing. What do you think? Like, does this mean we're not getting Pikmin 4 for 10 years, or is it like a way to ramp up towards that?
I think it's probably a way to go. You know, it's in theory, it's almost a way in my eyes. It's almost a way to go, this is similar to a Metroid Prime, where you release a Metroid Prime trilogy prior to get people kind of on board to what's going on, and then you follow it up next year with a Pikmin 4 and get everybody excited.
Yeah, like sometime, like, you know, because to me, like, talking about what if they just have another 2017 ready in 2021, I think a Pikmin 4 could be one of those games. Yeah. Absolutely, it could be. Like Metroid's so far away, it's not even funny.
Okay. Yeah, that's way out the way.
Bobby, on the eShop, the featured games right now, let's just give a sense of like why I'm kind of feeling this way. The number one featured game is Paper Mario, no surprise.
Yeah.
Next one is Minecraft Dungeons, which is a little bit surprising to me. Third one is Animal Crossing. Fourth one is The Outer Worlds, which, to my knowledge and understanding, runs like absolute garbage. Yeah. There's Burnout Paradise, which is a good game, but I played it 14 years ago. Yeah. Then there's a couple Pokemon games. There's actually 3 Pokemon games, XCOM 2, and Rogue Company. And then, Catherine's pretty good too. But, like, how many of those do you want to play?
Just one.
Animal Crossing.
That's it.
It's super interesting. Like, this featured page too, like, even just, this doesn't look like Nintendo as I look at it.
The thing that bothers me with the featured page is, the feature page, you think, in theory, is a way to push games that may be hidden gems to sort, or some games that are just coming out that need a push. Why in the world is Animal Crossing on that list? Seriously.
I mean, what do you mean? Why not? Why not? That's the thing. You and I don't necessarily come see eye to eye on this one. Why wouldn't they want to push the thing that like their number one seller? Just get it out there to everybody.
Because when you go to the best sellers, it's on the top of the list.
Yeah, well, that's because it's on the featured list. I don't know.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just think that my feeling has always been if featured is the thing that you want to show off to promote to help companies as well as yourself. If you have a game that's not selling that great, you put it in featured because that way it shines the light on it. A game that's selling 22 million copies doesn't need to be featured in my eyes.
It seems like that's the reason people are buying a Switch though. And you need it to be like you need that game to show up like as soon, if not even like somehow like that seems almost too buried.
So here's the question to you, Sean. You just answered the question for me. You're buying the Switch for Animal Crossing. Why do you need it to be featured?
I'm just saying, just because you need it to be easy to be found.
You buy it.
Like it's almost
most people that are going to the store to buy it, they're picking up the physical copy.
Maybe.
I mean, there's only a few. The digital is not overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like.
I get it from the standpoint of like if you're like a third party or if you're like an indie developer and you want help, then like what are you taking up that space for? But I don't begrudge Nintendo for putting their own game as like the number one feature thing, or even that it's not even the number one. I think it's number 4.
Yeah,
like that makes sense to me. I get it. Yeah. But as if I was somebody else struggling to get things sold on what people are already critical about with the overall experience on the eShop, like I get that part.
I think that featured is also contractual things. Like some of those games, you're not even going to tell me that they're not on there because of partnership deals.
Oh yeah, like Outer Worlds for sure.
Outer Worlds, definitely. Like that's a feature game, really? Mm-hmm. The thing runs like hot trash in the summer, and we're going to make that a feature game? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Like that's a good way for them to make money too, because then. You look at the recent releases. This is kind of like this is a better thing to really analyze. Like what is going on in this recent releases?
That's ridiculous.
Like Master Cube, Wordify, Mazazam. Like what is this? Ultra Food Mess.
Yeah.
It looks like the App Store. This is it goes rows and rows and rows and rows.
Which was trash.
It's a bit of an issue.
But man. That's what I'm saying. That's where I feel like you put some of those games that are really, really good, put them in the feature.
Yeah.
Because you're featuring...
Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely not going to argue on that.
In my eyes, like you want to feature the best of the best. You want to show people like, hey, these are games you might not have known about. Check them out. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's... And I don't mind if you do Animal Crossing, but good God, it's there every single month, every week.
Yeah.
Like, how long? They did the same thing with Smash. They did the same thing with Mario Kart. Like, they really need help. I always felt like the feature should be, like, things that are good that don't have the eyes on it, and you want to just give it a little nudge to get people to go, like, hey, check this out. They always put the top sellers in there. And it's like, that just, to me, I just don't understand it. Like,
sure, yeah.
And maybe it's just a definition thing. You know, maybe I'm just not understanding what that is supposed to be. I just want to see that eShop do better for smaller companies ultimately.
Yeah, no, I get that definitely, man, for sure.
I mean, but I'm also the idiot that bought a NES Lego set. So,
did you really?
Oh my God, hell yeah, man!
How much you spent on all that? Because it was the starter kit was like $80 or something.
No. I just bought the one that does the NES.
Oh, okay.
The NES one. I'm going to buy the starter kit.
The Mario one.
Yeah, I'm going to buy the Mario starter kit just because I want to be able to put it on the TV and have it play Mario music. But I did buy it because I was like, this is such a flashback to nostalgia that I gotta have it, man. I gotta have it. So I'm trying to figure out how to stream me putting it together.
I was seeing Phil from Player One podcast put his together, and I'm pretty sure this is the same set, unless he got something else, because he's on all the Lego stuff. But like the click down, like where you put the cartridge in and then you pop it down, like it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it looks, and it's inside. Like they didn't need to put that inside there because you won't really see it. It's just like the only time you really haven't come into contact with it is as you're building it.
Let me tell you something about Lego sets. I don't know if you've ever put together these big ones, right?
Yeah.
I literally one time, this was when I was married, I used to go to Disney all the time, and we would go to the Lego store, and I would buy one big set every year we were down there. And This one year, it was, I think it was like the Green Grocer, it was called. And it was like a building. It was a 3-story building. It was a grocery store. And like it had 3 levels, and it had the first floor was a grocery store, and then it had it was almost like a person lived in this place, but they had a store down below. You're building a staircase to go to the second floor. You're literally in the staircase. You will never see this. I don't even know why. You put a mouse and a piece of cheese in there.
What?
And it buries in the thing, and it's nobody would ever see it. It's just that small attention to detail, as it's there. That's all you need, and that's the type of stuff that you go. Lego thinks on that level, and it's crazy to me.
That stuff matters.
Yeah, it does. So as you're putting it together, just before I locked it together, I called her in. I'm like, you got to look at this. This is so neat. And then I locked it in. She goes, you'll never see it. Exactly. But it's just something for me as the builder to go that is really cool. So there's a lot of attention to detail when it comes to.
Well, I can't wait for you to. Are you gonna build it on stream or anything like that?
I'm thinking about it. I got to figure out how to do it.
Get a good setup or something.
I could do it right here at the desk. I got 2 cameras. I could put one that shoots down at my hands and then one that's straight on. But I'm thinking about doing that. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So
I want to see how small the pieces are. I need to look more into this thing because I've got kids who will eat them. So, which is weird because they haven't really done too much of that kind of stuff. But I don't want to risk it.
I mean, they're small pieces. It says on there 16 and up. It's not for little kids.
Years?
16 years and up. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not for a little kid, man. It's
I
hard.
know most Legos don't start until I think 6 or 7 even.
Yeah, but this is on the bottom, dude. There's 2,600 pieces, dude.
Good God, are there really?
Oh yeah, it's a massive.
It's like those old 3D puzzles. Remember those things you used to get with the big castles and everything else? It used to be all the rage back in the 90s.
Yeah, this is not for little kids. This is for idiots like me that have nothing to do with living nostalgia. That's. But I want it for my shelving and stuff. I think it looks.
It looks
awesome.
Great, dude. It looks really good.
Look good on the shelf, but I think that ultimately, when you look at things though, the fact that here's Nintendo going back to the whole Animal Crossing thing real quick, the fact that they're able to take this game and every time you think what else can they do, and then they come out with an update, and then the update is just massive.
Yeah, you good with it?
I'm good with the updates we've been getting, so far. The funny thing is, this is funny, Sean. So I was telling you the other day about this whole controversy with these star fragment trees. And this guy hunting people and reporting them and all that stuff. Nintendo went in with an update and wiped out all the star fragment trees.
I love it.
But here's the funny thing. They turned them into money trees. So people logged in and they started walking through their island and they realized, oh my God, all my trees are gone. But there's money trees. So I'm thinking, well, at least they gave you money for them. They gave you
that seems actually really nice.
They gave you the smallest amount of...
Oh, stop.
1,000 bells per bag, which is 3,000 bells per bag for tree. Yeah. And it's wow. They didn't give you 30,000. They gave you 3,000 bells.
So you're thinking you're just oh, yes, I got some money.
Yeah. And then it's no. It's crazy, man. The whole situation blows my mind because when it first started, Holly and I were guys, you shouldn't mess with this stuff. This is hacked items. They could take it away from you. People are oh, you're crazy. It's only a hacked tree. They're never going to find out. I'm okay, you think so? Sure enough, there it is. One update, blip, they're all gone. And I'm just oh my God. I think they're cool. They look really cute. It is a very aesthetically pleasing tree. But man, I can't even imagine. Some people are paying real world money for them.
I love the things that you say out loud when you talk about Animal Crossing.
What? Aesthetically pleasing?
Aesthetically pleasing tree. I love the things that you say.
Listen, man, I'm into this game, dude.
I know you are. I would just love for people to, people see you on the street and they have no idea what you're into. They don't know anything about you. I love to know what people think of you when they see you walking down the street and then they find out what you're really like. Like, oh,
right.
I'm running. You're just walking down the street, like, oh, there's this dude. He's just living his life, and you're like, actually, he runs like Deal or No Deal with his friends on the internet.
I gotta tell you, I rebuilt the set, Sean. So what I did was I moved the entire set from my Arkham Island to my second island, which is Gotham Island, right?
What does that involve? Like, you need movers or something? You need a truck or something like that?
Pick everything up, put them in your pockets, move it over. But then you got to rebuild the set, right? So the other night, Friday night on stream, I start building the set. Rebuild the whole set. And then there's a guy in our Discord. I don't know if you've noticed. You probably didn't even notice because you're just anything Animal Crossing, you got blinders on. But there's a guy named Mike UK who is really amazing at pixel art.
Yeah.
Like, fantastic at pixel art. So him and I have been communicating. I actually created a channel for him. I think it's called Mike UK's art class or something like that. Like for people to go ask him questions about how do you create these pixel things. Because I'm telling you, fantastic artwork. So I go to him and I'm like, man, I want you to recreate the logo for me for Nook No Nook. Can you make that for me? Dude, within like 10 minutes. Has it for me.
Heck?
I, on the floor, right? So I laid out the floor for the show. On the floor, the logo is on the floor now.
That is too good. Then
we got I had these walls in the back to kind of, that way you don't see what's behind the set and it feels like you're in a set. The Nook No Nook logo is on all the boards. So then I'm going, yesterday I was sitting there.
It's getting out of hand, Bobby.
Oh, dude, you got no idea. Wait, it goes a step further. So now I got the whole set up and I go, he gave me these because I was originally going to make this Gotham City. That was my whole plan, was to turn this island into Gotham City, like make it real urban and stuff. Well, he gave me panels of a city, like of a building.
Oh my gosh!
So we take these panels and what I do is I raise the ground behind the back wall. Well, he went and did these special ones for me that nobody had seen yet. There's one, it's the building, the facade, and then you see like. He did one on the middle, so you have the middle with one panel is all building with windows. Yeah. Then the left one is part building, but then it's fire escapes on the outside.
Oh, nice!
Right?
That's sweet. Yeah.
But one has Batman on it, so you it's a silhouette of Batman. Then,
what in the world?
Then on the right side, another fire escape, but then I set one back a little bit. And it's the bat signal shooting up in the sky. And then I have like these servers, which are giant. They're big block walls almost. They look like them old school big servers, like when you go into a computer. Like when you watch watch like Mission Impossible, and they go into the server room, and it's all they light up, and they like the lights move and stuff. Well, when you turn them, and from a distance, it looks like buildings. So
that's so smart.
So when you go up to the Nook or No Nook set now, it looks like in the background is Gotham City. So amazing, dude. So amazing. I'll have to show you pictures after this.
You know, you're reminding me of Chris Johnson from Player One Podcast talking about Sea of Thieves for 3 years. That's what you're going to be like. And then like he goes on and on. He's like, oh, we hit the sales and like blah, blah, blah. And then like it always sounds like, if you're not into it, it always sounds the same to everybody else. And like, okay, we'll let you have your moment. And then, like, can we talk about something new? The only problem is there's nothing new to talk about.
That's the problem right now. There's nothing new to talk about. So
what I might do is go back in time. I might look in, like, releases in August in history, in, like, 2019, 2018, etc. Go back and just see, like, maybe I missed something. Like, maybe I'll be playing my 3DS in August. I don't know, man. I think Hey Pikmin came out in August of something. There you go. There you go. Just play Hey Pikmin. I can get back to that. Ever Oasis, maybe.
Okay, so whatever. I'm done with you for today.
Yeah,
you're just whatever. I'm out. Okay,
negative.
Yeah, Mr. Negativity over here. I don't want to talk about Animal Crossing. Anyway, I'll see you next week, buddy.
See you, buddy.
Thank you for listening to A Cuppa Joe Nintendo, a production of the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. If you like the show, you can support them at patreon.com, You, Me, Capri. A Cuppa Joe Nintendo is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and all of your other podcast services. Be sure to follow Bobby at Nintendo Gurus on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. For everything that Sean does on the internet, follow him on Twitter. at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Also, twitch.tv Sean Capri. That is all. Peace out, Preston.